Welcome to the AB Suite 8.0 new features. My name is Suresh Anandan. I'm going to do a brief presentation and demonstration of SQL TDE feature in AB Suite Windows Runtime. First, let's talk about SQL TDE. TDE means Transparent Data Encryption. TDE protect your data at rest by performing real-time I/O encryption and decryption of SQL Server database data and log files. One of the biggest benefit of TDE is that SQL Server engine handle all the encryption and decryption work. This feature is available from SQL Server 2008. TDE help to protect data at rest. It encrypt the data and log files. This TDE feature is mainly available only Enterprise Edition till SQL 2017. However, in SQL 2019, this feature is available for Enterprise and Standard editions. Now we will talk about high-level architecture of TDE encryption. There are multiple levels of protection done in this hierarchy. First, Windows operating system level data protection, then SQL Server instance level protection via service master key. These two protections come by default with operating system and SQL Server instance. Next level protection is done in the master DB level by creating the master key. Also, we create a certificate for TDE. All the certificate will be stored in the master DB. Once this is done, we create encryption key for user databases, which is called database encryption key using the certificate from master DB. Finally, using the data encryption key, we will alter the user database to encrypt the data. To achieve the SQL TDE, there are 4 primary steps involved. For example, if you want to enable SQL TDE for sample DB, first you need to create a master key. Second, you need to create a certificate in the master DB. Then create a data encryption key. Finally, alter the database to enable TDE using the data encryption key. All this manual step to be followed to enable SQL TDE for any databases via SQL Server Management Console. From AB Suite 8.0 onwards, user no need to follow all this step manually. Just few clicks, user is able to create or modify the SQL database with transparent data encryption. Now we have a good understanding of SQL TDE. Let's see how this feature is integrated with AB Suite Runtime SQL Database. AB Suite Runtime SQL DB can be encrypted using TDE to protect the user data. By default, SQL DBs are not TDE enabled in AB Suite. However, users have an option to create the TDE enabled databases or change existing databases to TDE and vice versa. It encrypts the data at rest using symmetric key encryption with EAS algorithms. During the process of enabling TDE, database encryption key will be generated using EAS encryption algorithm of desired key length like 128 bits, 192 bits and 256 bits. User can choose any of this encryption algorithm. AES_256 is a default algorithm in AB Suite. TDE feature is available only for Enterprise Edition for all SQL Server versions. However, TDE feature is available for Enterprise and Standard editions from SQL 2019. In short, TDE feature supported in Enterprise and Standard edition in SQL Server 2019, only supported in Enterprise edition in SQL Server 2017. From AB Suite 8.0, we are introducing new icons for users to see and differentiate the state of the databases. This icon represents that it's a normal DB without encryption. This icon represents that it's a TDE encrypted database. This icon represents that the TDE encryption is in progress. Transparent data encryption will take some time if the database size is too big. The timing will vary from the actual database size. With this icon, user will know that the database encryption is in progress. This icon represents that TDE decryption is in progress. Similar to encryption, disable transparent data encryption will take some time if the database size is too big. The timing will vary from the actual database size. With this icon, user will know that the database decryption is in progress. While using this TDE features, user should remember some key points. We will discuss those points in this slide. If user is performing any TDE operation with the production database, then they must take the copy of the database before any TDE operation. If there is any interruption during the encryption or decryption, we cannot resume or reuse the database. So it's highly recommended to take the backup of the production database before performing any TDE activity. Backup the certificate if you want to restore the database to some other machines or decrypt the database. It is impossible to decrypt the database if the certificate is lost. AB Suite creates the certificate automatically if TDE is enabled. Similarly, certificates will be deleted if the database is deleted. However, if user want to transfer the DB from one machine to another machine, the user need to take the backup of the certificate and restore it in the second machine manually to use a encrypted database. Database mirroring with TDE is possible. However, user need to enable or configure TDE manually on the principal and mirror servers. To know more details, please refer the product documentation.
In this demonstration, we will see how to use SQL TDE feature in AB Suite 8.0. Open admin tool. I have one existing server registration called default. Let's look at the property of the server registration. My server registration name is default. I'm using SQL Server 2019 and this is my server name. I'm using default instance of SQL Server. Already I have created two databases under default server registration. Let's try to create a new database. To create a new database, select the default node, right click, new database. Enter the new database name here. The new database name I entered as a mytestdb. If the enable option is not selected under transparent data encryption setting, then it creates a normal database. Click OK. MyTestDB is created under default and it's a normal database. Now let's try to create a new encrypted database. Enter the database name as mytesttdedb. Now select enabled option under transparent data encryption setting. After the enable option is selected, user will see another option called encryption algorithm. This list shows all the supported encryption algorithm. User can choose any one of them. AES underscore 256 is a default algorithm in AB Suite 8.0. Also, you see a warning message below saying enabling TDE creates a certificate automatically. Refer a product documentation for more information. Click OK. My test TDE DB is created under default. Also, you notice a key icon with the database icon, which represent that my test TDE DB is encrypted. Let's look at the property of my test TDE DB. My database name is my test TDE DB. Transparent data encryption is enabled. It used AES underscore 256 algorithm for the encryption. The certificate name is mytesttdedb underscore cert. This certificate is created automatically by AB Suite while creating the database. You can see the certification details in SQL Server Management Studio. Now let's see how to convert the normal database into encrypted database and vice versa. We have created two databases, one normal database and one encrypted database. Let's see how to convert the normal database to encrypted database. My testdb is a normal database and we will try to convert to encrypted database. To convert to encrypted database, select my testdb, right click, alt task, enable transparent data encryption. A new dialog will appear. It asks user to select the encryption algorithm. We will choose a different algorithm this time, AES underscore 192. Click OK. Now my testdb is converted to encrypted database. You will see a small key on top of the database icon which represent that this database is a SQL TD encrypted database. Let's look at the property of my testdb. Database name is my testdb. transparent data encryption is enabled. We selected AES underscore 192 as an algorithm for encryption, and the certificate name is mytestdb underscore cert. Let's try to convert the encrypted database to normal database. So mytestdb is a encrypted database. Select mytestdb, right click, all task, select disable data encryption. A new dialog will appear and ask user to confirm to disable the transparent encryption for this database. Click yes. Now mytestdb is a normal database. Let's look at the property of this database. And the database name is mytestdb. Transparent data encryption is disabled. If it is a empty database or small database, the encryption and decryption will happen in few seconds. However, the encryption and decryption will take time if the database size is too big. I have a database called perf SQL TDE underscore DB. This database has 300 millions of records. It is a normal database. We will try to convert to encrypted database. To convert to encrypted database, select the database, right click, all task, enable transparent data encryption. Select the encryption algorithm as AES underscore 256. Click OK. You will see a up arrow on top of the database icon, which represent that the encryption is in progress. So let's look at the property of the database. The database name is perf SQL TDE underscore DB. Transparent data encryption is in progress. AES underscore 256 is algorithm choose for the encryption. And this is a certificate name, and it says 81% is completed. So click OK to do a refresh. Now you see a database icon has changed. So this represents that the encryption is completed. Now perf SQL TDE underscore DB is a encrypted database. Let's look at the property. It is an encrypted database. It used AES underscore 256, and this is a certificate. Now let's try to convert this encrypted database into normal database. Select the database, all task, disable transparent data encryption. Click yes. Now you will see a down arrow on top of the database icon, which represent that decryption is in progress. Let's look at the property of this database. Transparent data decryption is in progress. It shows 75% of decryption is completed. Click OK. Do a refresh. Now perf SQL TDE underscore DB is a normal database. Let's look at the property. Transparent data encryption is disabled. Till now, we have seen how to convert a normal database to encrypted database and vice versa in admin tool. Now we will see how to do a similar operation in command line. Open a command prompt, go to bin64 of product installation directory. The command line utility configure database help you to create, modify or delete the database. So let's try to create a normal database. Type configure database /c, specify the database name as Mydb, specify the alias name, default. This time I want to create a normal database, hence no other parameters is required. It says successfully created a database. Let's go and check in admin tool. Mydb is created as a normal database. Now Mydb is a normal database. Let's try to convert to encrypted database. Type configure database.exe. This time we want to modify the existing database. Use /em. Specify the database name. Specify the alias name. This time we want to encrypt the database. Specify TDE on. Also, you need to specify which algorithm you want to use for the encryption. /algo AES underscore 256. Press enter. It says TD has enabled successfully. Let's go and see in admin tool. Now MyDB is a encrypted database. Let's look at the property. MyDB is an encrypted database and it used AES underscore 256 algorithm for the encryption. Now let's try to convert MyDB from encrypted database into normal database. Go to command prompt and type configure database.exe. You want to modify the existing database. So specify /em, database name as MyDB, alias default. So you want to turn off the encryption. So say /TDE off. Press enter. It says TDE has disabled successfully for Mydb. Let's go and refresh the database in admin tool. Now Mydb is a normal database.
Thank you for watching till the end and listening.